Welcome to Contacto, brought to you by the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. This is Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO. We have a great show lined up for you today. Joining us is Governor Rick Perry. He's going to be talking to us about some of his top initiatives for the state of Texas. Please stay tuned. Governor Perry, welcome to the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce television program. Welcome to Houston.
It's good to be with you, Dr. Laura. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's start out. You had a great speech today here in Houston, and you talked about several key areas. Of course, the economy and how great it is to be in Texas. You talked about education. You talked about Medicaid, infrastructure. Tell us a little bit about the economy in Texas and why it's so great to be in this great state.
Well, good, solid foundation is what's been put in place here over the course of the last decade. Taxes, regulatory climate, legal system that doesn't allow for oversuing. And it goes back, it really started back in the 2003 legislative session. We had a budget shortfall, and we didn't raise taxes on small businesses or large businesses for that matter. We made the hard decisions, just like you have to do all of your small businesses out there that belong to the Houston Hispanic Chamber. You think about when the economy turns down for whatever reason, then the last thing they need is another burden on their back of increased taxes. So I know there's a lot of pressure to spend money on different programs and what have you, but I think the Texas legislature should be given credit and kudos for being very disciplined in their habits when it comes to spending. Then obviously the tax policy, regulatory policy, passed the most sweeping tort reform in the nation back in 2003. That was 10 years ago. And Houston and the surrounding area and the Texas Medical Center specifically been great from the standpoint of having that protection against those frivolous lawsuits. It's just been a great beneficiary of that decision making. So the foundation has been put in place here for nearly a decade with tax, regulatory, and legal system that has allowed entrepreneurs to know that they can risk their capital and have a chance to have a return on their investment. One of the things I call for in the State of the State address, and that I talked about today in Houston, was making that small business tax exemption permanent. Every year the small business tax comes up for debate. Are we going to extend it again? We need to give predictability to the small business owner, to the mom and pop business here that may have only 2 or 3 employees. And if they had to pay that margins tax, that might be the difference between making a profit and not. So let's make that permanent so a small businessman knows I'm not going to have to pay that margins tax. When you get up big over $1 million, and it's okay, you can pay your share and to help pay for the ongoing parts. But these small businesses, let's let them get their roots down, to grow and
thrive and hire more employees, which is what they're here to do. Our Chamber of Commerce has over 5,000 members. 2/3 of those members, Governor, are small business owners. And so for them, every dollar counts. And you're absolutely right. They want some type of predictability, especially as it relates to all of the healthcare issues that are going on in terms of the Medicaid and those arenas. Talk to us a little bit more about not accepting federal funding and what your thoughts are. Specifically, how is that going to impact those small businesses?
Here's what we have to keep in mind is that the Medicaid program, and we've tried to get waivers from this Medicaid program for many years. This isn't just the current administration, previous administrations as well, so that states could have the ability to put programs into place. We could be flexible. We could be more affordable from the standpoint of we know that we could run the Medicaid program for less money and to get more people covered if we were given a block grant. But that's not, woulda, coulda, shoulda, as they say, and that's not that this administration is not going to do that. They want the Affordable Care Act that's going to truly drive up the cost of health care. And one of the things that they're trying to do is to force more people into the Medicaid program, which would drive up your small business taxes by a substantial amount. So we've said no to a program that already has taken up 25% of the Texas budget. Just that Medicaid program uses up a quarter, 25 cents of every dollar that the state of Texas has to spend. We know that that is a broken system. We know that that is an unsustainable system. So we've basically said, no, we're not going to force more people into a program and then force that higher taxes onto. Because when you think about, there's only two ways that this gets paid for. Either print more money in Washington, D.C., which devalues the money in your pocket, or they take a loan out that the Chinese buy. And I don't think either one of those are particularly good long-term solutions. What we need to be working on in this country is living within our means, not spending money that we don't have. And that's the I think the real challenge for us as a country. In Texas, we have a constitutional amendment that requires us to have a balanced budget. We can't deficit spend, and we shouldn't. So sometimes we are in times of plenty, as we are right now, with a
healthy,
great economy, growing and doing what have you. But there will be a time, like 2 years ago, when, because of the national recession, that our resources go down. But the worst thing that we can do is to say to the businessmen and women who belong to your chamber, you know what, we just can't make those tough decisions, and we're going to keep that spending up, and we're going to have to raise your taxes. That is the type of environment that really scares a small business person, that not to have the predictability and the taxes are going to be low, regulatory climate's going to be low.
And knowing what's in the future. And speaking of the future, I know one of the things that you talked upon today was the area of transportation and utilizing as a one-time opportunity to tap into that rainy day fund.
The Port of Houston, a huge part of our local economy, channeling opportunity to all of us.
Same goes for Amity Bank of Texas. Like the port, we help local businesses expand their horizons.
With the services they need to navigate international waters.
And the financial strength to do the heavy lifting.
So come see the very local, very international bankers at Amity.
Together, we'll chart a steady course for your future.
Amity Bank of Texas, VA Bank.
I mean, really, where would we be without small businesses?
We need small businesses.
They're the ones that help drive growth.
Like electricians, mechanics, carpenters.
Who strengthen our communities. Every year, Chevron spends billions with small businesses. That goes right to the heart of local communities, providing jobs, keeping people at work. They depend on us. The economy depends on them. And we depend on them.
The Port of Houston is a testament to human ingenuity. It consists of public terminals, a massive turning basin, more than 150 private terminals, and one of the world's largest petrochemical complexes. But the port's strengths go beyond size. The Port of Houston Authority is the first in the country to meet international environmental management standards, and it's the first in the world to receive global security certification for its police and perimeter security operations. The Port of Houston delivers.